Anyway, let's get started. Let's get started. So, good evening, everyone. My name's Naomi Empowers. I'm so excited to be with you all today. We've been waiting for this for some time now. I've been battling my own imposter syndrome, preparing for this to get going. So I'm excited that we're here. It started, and we're actually doing this thing. So I have some incredible guests on the line tonight. Some of the faces may be familiar, others maybe not so. So what I'm going to do before we get in is just go around and ask everyone to introduce themselves. We want to, so everyone on here, we want to, guys, we want to let the people know rather, a bit about some of the highlights of your career, or your business, or your journey. Just let people have a bit of an insight into who you are. So Phoebe, let's start with you.
Hi guys, I'm Phoebe Edwards, brought up in North London. I'm a singer-songwriter, artist. I've been touring, doing backing vocals for various artists around the world. Jessie J, Rita Ora, Rod Stewart, to name a few. I'm currently working on my own project and my own music, and I am writing and working hard on creating some great music for you guys. I've done shows of my own in the likes of Jazz Cafe, Rooftop Gardens. I can hear that back. Can you hear it back? Okay. Rooftop Gardens, and I have been doing my own tribute to Whitney Houston. Yeah, so singer-songer, recording artist. Yeah, that's myself.
Great. Thank you, Phoebe. Who wants to go next?
Okay, I'll go.
Today.
My name is Tanae Edwards. I am a writer, poet, and self-love advocate, known for my raw and visceral poetry online. Some of my words have been shared by some very credible celebrities, including Candy Burris, Khloe Kardashian, Dasha Polanco, and Wesley Snipes. Thank you, guys. By maintaining a brand based solely around self-love, resilience and freedom, I've built an audience of over 45k on Instagram, and I've also done a book signing in New York last year at one of the biggest bookstores over there, which is called Barnes and Noble. I literally flew over there by myself, and yeah, that was a real step outside of my comfort zone to do that.
Wicked.
And yeah, that's me.
Oh, thank you Tanae. And last but not least,
yes, my name is Andrew Fuller. Yes, I own a men's grooming company, right? In doing that, we make men's grooming products, mainly for the beard, for the hair, you know, shampoos, conditioners, beard washes, balms, creams, oils. And the unique thing about my thing is that in many other companies, they get their products made, you know, they outsource it, and, you know, they don't really have a say in how it looks, how it feels, what it does too much. But with me, I built every product from scratch myself, you know, formulated, done the cosmetic licensing, almost like a little chemist. And it was trial and error. But what I can safely say is that, you know, there's a lot of ups and downs, but in Europe alone, there's a company called Ruzel and American Crew. And these were the companies that I used to look up to, like, wow, these are the best in the world. And these are the companies that are now coming at me, literally asking me advice at how to reach certain markets. So that's just to let people know, man, it doesn't matter where you're coming from or who you are. You can do whatever you want to do, really.
That's right.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, guys. And for those of you who don't know me, gosh, where do I start? So many of you will know me from in different walks of life. Some of you will know me from being involved in the music industry. Some of you know me as a speaker. Others will know me as a coach. And I remember growing up, I was actually really embarrassed about that. I was really embarrassed that I had the ability to do lots of different things. And I remember for many years, I was constantly trying to be pigeonholed. Everyone said you have to do this one thing. And as a result of that, I tried lots of different things, which then made me get qualifications and experience in a range of areas. You know, I'm a qualified and licensed mortgage consultant. I'm a management consultant. I'm a certified life coach.
Wow.
An artist manager. I did a lot of things before trying to find out, well, what is my one thing?
Yeah.
And then I finally realized and accepted, you know something, I am fine exactly the way I am. And I don't necessarily have to fit into anyone else's boxes. And my tribe or my people, they get it. And we can have those conversations. And so I guess I also want to give you some encouragement that if you're someone like me who may have talents in different areas, you may have the ability to do wonderful things. Don't feel that you have to pigeonhole yourself. Don't feel that you have to follow the rules, so to say. I'm a rebel by nature anyway.
Wow.
And on top of that, I'm also a solo parent. I've got 2 young babies, a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old. I graduated recently at the top of my class with a Master's of Business Administration.
Excellent.
We're talking about today, we're celebrating people who are doing their thing. It's time to stop being embarrassed, stop being ashamed of who you are and the gifts and the talents and the abilities that you've actually been blessed with. So we're going to be celebrating that. But more than anything, tonight, I really want to take a deep dive into the minds of these fabulous entrepreneurs. Because I heard someone say, yes, bring out the receipts. And we have brought out the receipts and we've got more to come. So for those of you who've heard what we've done so far, we're not stopping there. We have no intention of slowing down. There's a lot more to come.
Yeah.
However, I don't want you all to look at us, to hear our stories, be inspired and think, oh my gosh, well, she must be extra special, or he must have had a really solid start in life to be able to achieve all of these things. I want us to get deep into the mindset of the entrepreneur. And so I'm going to ask the panel, I'm going to ask you all some questions. Oh, hey, I'm just going to shout out some people who are online. I'm sorry, I've ignored you. So we have got Dr. Joella Castillo. Hey, Joella, thank you so much for joining. We've got Mario Hernandez all the way from Colombia. Thank you for joining.
Wow.
We got Althea from Northeast London. That's my best
namesake.
friend.
My namesake.
We've got Nicole from Reading. We've got my cousin Stacey. Hey, Stacey. We've got Shay, one of my best friends in the world. We've got David from Essex. I think is he in Grays or something like that? So many people are watching. I can't pronounce even all the names, but thank you for everyone who has come and who's joined. But panel, I've got a question for you before we dig into it. And we might get some questions from the audience as well. So if you see me looking up and down, that's what I'm doing. I really want to know, this is about dream killers. It's about defeating your dream killers. It's about imposter syndrome. That's what we're talking about today. I want you to let us know if you've had any experience of imposter syndrome, or what imposter syndrome even is to you and how it shows up in your life, even as a successful singer-songwriter, a successful author, a successful businessman, entrepreneur. Talk to us about that. I don't know who wants to go first.
I will. For me, as an artist, singer-songwriter, I wouldn't like to say that I suffer with imposter syndrome, but what I will say is that I've definitely experienced it. I feel like I experienced it at the hands of other people putting things on me as an artist, for who I am, as well as an artist. I'm a pastor's kid, you know, preacher's kid, overseer, PK. And there's a certain expectation of you, and there's certain things that as a PK, you're almost perceived as having to be perfect. As I mentioned before, I'd sung at Jazz Cafe. I had a show there, a sold out show there, doing 2 nights, sold out, doing Whitney Houston tribute. And just before I was about to go on stage, I got a text about my stepson who was suffering from cancer and was about to die. And I'm confident I can go on stage, I can do what I do. I know how to go on stage and sing. But just as I was about to go on stage and get an anonymous text at that time, I thought to myself, how on earth am I going to do this show? What are people going to think of me? At that time, bear in mind, I'd already been ridiculed and accused of infidelity. I had been slandered on social media by my husband and his family, and I had been treated like dirt. And I pushed through and managed to get myself to do my shows. And then this anonymous text comes in, and my ex-husband and his family had ripped my stepson away from me. And then I got this text message, and I was about to go on stage and do a sold out show, about to step on stage. And the first thing that hit me was, what the hell do you think you're doing?
Wow.
You can't do this.
Wow.
Like, who do you think you are? How are you going to go on stage? And how are you going to sing in front of these people? How are you going to put on a show? And how are you going to hit the notes? And worse off, people already know things about you, and people have already put things out there. How dare you go up there? How do you know that there's not someone in the audience that's going to beat you down from the crowd? And I had to really, really speak to myself, and what I had to do in order to deal with that imposter syndrome of thinking that I wasn't worth it and I wasn't going to do well because, you know, I'd kept quiet all this time, and now people are going to look at me a certain way because I'm now going to go and do a show knowing what's going on in the background, which was out of my control. It's like, how do I deal with that? And the best thing that I could do was just own my truth, which was, I'm amazing. I'm good at what I do. I can smile. I can put on a show. I've been doing this for years. And just because I'm about to go on stage and sing, knowing what I know and knowing what people have thrown out there about me, which is out of my control, doesn't mean that it's true. I know so that was a snippet of a moment when imposter syndrome came in, and I literally just decreased. Even my best friend was with me, and she was like, Phoebes, are you all right? Are you going to do this? And I was like, I don't know. The crowd were out there screaming. The band was starting, and I'd just seen this anonymous text message, you know. And that was one experience for me. But I wouldn't like to say I suffer with it, but there are times when it really can come and impact your life. That's one example for me. I don't know if anyone else wants to take the floor, but, you know.
Well, Phoebe, I'm just looking at the comments now. People are saying it's so inspiring. Someone said that's hard. Wow. That's probably Shay says she's sorry to hear that, Phoebe. People, I'm sure, can relate. So if if you're out there and you're a singer, a songwriter, a performer, so an up and coming artist, just know that as accomplished as Phoebe is, she hasn't necessarily reeled off all of her accomplishments, and I'm going to press her on that later. Don't worry, I'm going to get her to really bring those to you.
I will.
But, you know, despite all she has achieved, and despite all the years that she's been in the music business, she still is human and is still able to feel that twang of, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Who do I think I am? So just know, if you're in that situation, you are not alone. Look at Phoebe. She is a veteran in this game. And feels it as well. So, someone is saying to you that you are so strong. Love it, Phoebe. Own your truth. Oh, thank you. There's comments coming. We love that. Thank you. Thank you. Andrew, I want you to talk to me about what you think imposter syndrome is and how it has shown up in your journey as an entrepreneur.
So for me, never being able to look at the things I'm able to do. People would make that decision for me. Like growing up, people would say, bro, you're excellent at sport, you're good at this, you're good at that. But those were just words from people who weren't really in my life. But the people who were actually in my life, being honest, I didn't get my true powers. I didn't see what I thought I saw. The things that I was good at, people used to disagree with and be like, well, you're not good at school. You know, you're always getting in trouble. You can't do maths. You can't really read that well. And those things stuck. It's like I would always listen to what people thought of me. And deep down, I knew I was able, you know, don't get it twisted. I kind of knew that I was able to get busy. But when you're hearing more voices against you, it's so easy to just say, why would I do this knowing that the encouragement ain't even there? Like, so it's going to sound mad, but I've never done. So, okay, every major thing I've done has always been fought.
Has always been what?
Has always been fought against.
Okay.
Always. And that's by people closest to me. I've like the biggest things I've ever done in my life. The people that are closest to me, it's either they get it fully or they fully don't.
So Andrew, I'm going to press you a little bit. Talk to me about some of those biggest things that you've ever done. Because I think, because me and you obviously have conversations, so I know a bit of the story, but we've got some people on here who have never seen or heard you before. They want to know as well. Inquiring minds want to know is what I'm reading. Give us a little bit of the story. Tell us.
So my life is vast, as you know, Nate, man. And I don't want to speak about the things that I've conquered, and it was kind of not easy, but it was a given. That's not really a war story, but the things that people would never put me in this field of business. People would think entrepreneur, like business, you know, making money, doing all stuff. No way. You know, being a thinker, being a visionary, no way. So when I started my business, right, I had zero of anything. There was no money, there was no anything. And I said, right, on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, all the socials, I said this, right, if I can make a bare product, right, if I make one, who would be willing to buy it? I got like 100 messages, Nick. And the next day, I made 100 products. And the next day after that, I sold 100 products.
Wow.
That was all I needed. It's like, that was the day that I said, you're all lying. And you've all been lying. Like, I literally thought I could never have, you know, begun to do that. And my point is that I don't think people were like that towards me because they didn't like me. They were just probably portraying what they believed about themselves.
Right. Yes,
you know, that's it.
Come on.
So
Come on.
I don't hold it against them, but that's the sad state of when you want to really rise above people. Some people only want you to rise where they are. Like the minute they see you kind of thinking a bit bigger than them, it's their job to kind of tell you, hey, big man, you can't do that.
Calm down.
Simply because it's never been done before. You know?
I've got some comments coming in. Someone says, Shay saying, sometimes they're not lying, they are just blind.
It's true.
Someone else, where did I say this? Laurel said, the sad thing is that it's always those closest to you, yet they will go and support celebrities.
Yes.
Listen.
That's right.
It's true. It's true.
So true.
It's so true. So tell me, Andrew, that feeling of people coming against you and saying, no, you can't, you can't go that, you can go a little bit far, but not all the way.
That's it.
How did that impact you?
Big time. Like, you know my story, Nate. Like, I went to uni in 2013 and my lecturers told me, and I'm not telling no lies, they said to me, they've not met many students who think like me. That was when I saw myself as an academic for the first time in my life. I was 26 years old, Naomi.
Wow.
So in school, my point is, I used to look at the maths book and say, listen, you win. Like, my name ain't even opening that. So like, I wouldn't even try and attempt it though. I wouldn't even try and attempt homework. So when you're looking at a young black kid not doing homework and you're thinking he's stupid, it ain't because of that. I have been told that this ain't for me. It's not what I'm good at. So why would I go to the homework and think this is really good for me to do? Anything that I am told I'm not good at, I'm going to be frightened of it.
Absolutely.
Of course.
That's
of course.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing with us. Today, let me come on to you right now. You know, again, you and I have had our conversations. I know a bit about your story, but for the sake of those who are watching, wherever they may be watching, I want you to talk to me about what imposter syndrome is to you and how it showed up in your journey to become an author. Let us hear a bit about your experience.
So I can definitely resonate to Phoebe and Andrew's story on a massive level. I think when I started, so I graduated from university in 2014 with a law degree. And I was striving to be, thank you, I was striving to be a city lawyer because I was told that, you know, city lawyers make the most money in the legal field. And I was thinking, if I've studied this much, I've got more studying to do. If I'm going to work this hard, I need to be on that level of sort of pay and salary. So I was striving for that. And I was working as a legal assistant for a few years. And then I just started to completely hate my job. I felt like I couldn't be myself in terms of the way that I had to speak. I felt like I was changing myself to try and fit in the corporate world, straightening my hair like nearly every day because I felt like having my hair how I wanted to wouldn't allow me to fit into the corporate world. So I just felt like I wasn't myself and I couldn't be myself. And I felt really lost in my career path. And I remember when I told my parents that, you know, I don't know if I want to do law anymore.
Wow.
They just weren't really having it. they didn't.
I can agree with that.
Yeah,
I can
I can
relate to that.
Wow.
And they just, you know, they just wasn't for it. They just kept saying, you know, why don't you try a different area of law? And but I just really didn't enjoy it. And so I turned to writing because that was where I let my pain out and my frustration out.
Wow.
I felt really embarrassed that, you know, I was feeling lost in my career path as well, because I felt like everyone else around me knew what they wanted to do. They were on their path towards doing what they wanted to do and enjoying it, whereas I was just lost. So I turned to writing, and that was what uplifted me.
Tanae, before you go any further, I really just want to stop right there a second, because I think there's something in that. You said that you felt lost, but then when you looked around, it seemed like everyone else had it together.
Yeah.
So what I want to ask for the people who are watching online, can any of you relate to that? Have any of you ever gotten to a point where you feel like you're the only one who just year after year after year, in fact, is repeating the same year over and over again, getting a year older, but absolutely no progress, going around in circles, having a vision for your life, but then can only go so far, have to fall back? Does anyone actually understand how that feels and how that can affect your mental when you see everyone else is progressing, whether it be they're getting the job promotion that they wanted, whether it be they graduated and I couldn't graduate, whether it be they've finally put out that body of work, whether it be a single, an album, and now I still can't get in the studio, whether it be that they now started another business, but I'm still writing my business plan. If you're understand, look, I'm seeing so many people who are saying, yes, I'm feeling that right now. It's hard. That can break a person's spirit. And I certainly relate to that, Tanae, on a number of levels. But I was just really interested to say that was something that you experienced, feeling stuck and having the pain of watching everyone else, or at least that's what it looks like. It looks like everyone else is progressing while you're just stagnant. But we now know from the comments alone, and even our conversations, that isn't the truth. So many of us are feeling the same way. Sorry, Tanae, I had to butt in. Keep going.
Yeah, it's true. And I turned to writing because I felt like I couldn't go to anyone because nobody would understand. So I turned to writing, and that's where I let out my feelings and my thoughts, and it really made me feel better, unexpectedly. I didn't know it would have that feeling on me. And so I carried on writing, and I started to really empower myself through my words.
Yes.
I think that's when I discovered the power of words and the words that you speak over your life. I then decided to share my words on social media because I wanted to see whether anybody else could understand me. And to my surprise, there were many people that could. I had no idea what I was doing at the time. It was just, I was just merely sharing my thoughts and my emotions online. I had no idea how big this was going to grow, where this was going to lead me, or anything at all. But yeah, I just found that there were so many people going through the same thing. And when I told like my close ones that this is what I was doing, they still couldn't understand why I was doing that and why I wanted to walk away from law. But during that time, my uncle was passing away from cancer. When we was at the hospital, we were having a conversation, and he started going over the things that he didn't get to do in life. Like he was saying, "Oh, I haven't even had the chance to go skiing yet, or sit in a Lamborghini." And I think it was that moment a light bulb in my brain like switch.
Wow.
Right, I don't want to be in that position when I'm on my deathbed. So I need to go for what I want to do and carry on writing and leave law alone because I'm not enjoying it. And when I left that hospital, like I literally made the decision to leave my job and pursue my career in writing. And And yeah, it was that moment for me. And I think that's when I realized that, you know what, you only have one life to live.
That's right.
Your time is up. So you've got to do the things that you want to do and explore the things that you enjoy. Whether it works out or not, you just never know. And for me, I never knew, you know, that this was going to be that, I don't know, so many people would be able to see my words and that my words would reach in so many different countries.
Wow, amazing.
That's really powerful. Thank you so much for sharing. I want us to, in fact, before I go on to the next question that I have, there are a couple of questions that have come up from the comments that I just want to put to you, if that's okay. The first question, sorry, I've lost it now. Hold on, bear with me. Okay, Andrew, there's a question for you. When you're in that stage where you're kind of feeling stuck and you're feeling stagnant, because I'm seeing a lot of people saying that they are feeling stuck right now. They're in that place where they're going around in circles. They're not making it feels like they're not making any progress. They're feeling stuck. They're feeling stagnant. What do you do in that stagnant stage to help yourself, especially when you don't have those positive voices in your head from your nearest and dearest telling you that, yes, you can do this? Andrew, that's a question for you.
Yeah, we can't make this too, you know, philosophical. We can't do that. We can't make it too deep. To me, it's just plain and simple. I can tell you what I did, but I needed to, you know, plan, strategize, and believe in that plan. Like my A Fuller Bear business, yeah. When I tell you, when I planned that, no one could stop me. Nobody. It got to the pace, right, where not even myself could do that anymore. So even when I felt down, my plan and my belief and my strategy, my idea and my dream had got to the place, right, where nothing could stop me. Even when I was depressed and I was down in the dumps, I used to remind myself at the fact that this didn't just birth itself, right? This came from, you know, wherever it came from. You know, you got to know where your dream came from. But even when you're in your most downest moments, there is something called get up and move. Literally, like you could read all the books about how to get up and move. The brain don't work like that. The subconscious mind is where you get up and move. The conscious mind is where you deliberate and where you say, you know, I think I should do that. You know, I think it might be best for me. That's foolishness. One day you have to just get up and go. Right? And it can't be based on feelings and emotions. You got to stop being led by that, because most of the major things I've done in my life did not get birthed through good feelings or good emotions. I just got up and done it because I knew it was the right thing to do. Principle, basically. You got to get to a place where you can move based on principle, and you can't teach that. You just got to do it. Get up and move despite.
So true.
Thank you for that. And Phoebe, I've got a question for you.
Sure thing.
And the question is, have you had, and I think this would be best for you because of some of the things that you've shared earlier, and obviously what I know about your story as well. Have you had barriers outside of your control? Have you had, remember we were talking about this. So there's one thing where, you know, to a point, I don't know if you all agree, to a point we can control ourselves. Not fully, maybe, because I'll still do things I just think, oh, you idiot, why did you do that? But to a point, we can control ourselves. But there's sometimes things that happen outside of us that will have an impact on our ability to progress to the next level, to actually do this thing. So maybe it's your health, maybe which maybe you've got some sort of condition that might be preventing you. Maybe it's your living conditions or your financial situation where, sometimes life happens and you can't necessarily at that moment in time get a hold of that. So what the question is, how do you manage or balance the thoughts and the feelings in your head versus the external situations that seem to be conspiring against you to hold you down? What do you think about that?
Let me tell you something. I was saying this to Naomi the other day. I have been promising coming soon, album coming soon, since, I don't know, probably 2011. It's now 2020. Where is this album? Now, someone said something earlier about being on social media and everything looking like it's cool. I was good at that. I was very good at making it look like things are cool, but there was always something out of my control that was stopping me from achieving that album that I wanted to put out. Now, it may be because there was a bigger plan, the higher powers, God, whatever you want to call it, there was a bigger plan. But for me, all I could see was I went from singing with an A-class artist to being sacked for no reason. And then I had my wedding the next year. And then I had everything that was brought out against me by my husband and his family. Then I had my stepson who died. Then I went into depression. Then I tried to commit suicide. Then my health went because I was smoking and I was on the floor, I wasn't eating, I was losing loads and loads and loads of weight and I couldn't control it. But the whole time I was pretending that I was okay. Each time I had a plan to do, I'm going to do my album this year. It was, I got sacked and I didn't have any money. It was, I'm going to do my album the next year. It was, oh no, I've got a wedding to pay for. I'm gonna do my album this year. Oh no, I've got, you know, all this stuff that's happened on the internet, and now I can't go to the studio because all this, I need to sort it. I need to sort out my divorce. I need to go to therapy. There was always something out of my control that I just couldn't get this one thing done for myself. And the way I balanced it, let me be honest. I'm being honest, right? We're being honest on here. I don't balance it very well. I pretended I was balancing it very well. You know, I was good at smiling and acting and standing on stage and giving the big Cheshire Cat smile and, you know, singing as high and as loud as possible. But I was not actually controlling it very well. And the best thing for me personally was therapy. I had to own my truth. I had to go to therapy and I had to break things down and I had to find my passion again. And I had to then start to invest everything that had happened to me and was still happening and is still happening in this current day. I had to put that in my music and tell myself it's okay that it didn't happen there and then, but there's a reason why it didn't happen there and then. And that when it does happen, it's going to be so great and so powerful that I will understand why all these things were happening outside of my control. That's how I dealt with it. I had to go to therapy and I had to trust that there was a reason why things weren't happening there and then, but I never, ever, ever lost sight of my goal. It's something that I think Andrew said earlier about, you know, no matter how low you are. I remember being low on my bedroom floor and I just was like, God, that's enough. I don't even know if you're there, but that's enough. No more. No more of this life. I don't want to be here. I don't want to live. And but the only thing that kept me going was knowing that I had a passion for singing, and I knew that the only way that I was going to get it out was through my voice, and the only way I was going to talk about how I was feeling was through my voice. And the one thing that kept me going was the goal, which was I will do the album, but that's what I've got in my eyesight, and I've got to keep looking at that. And that's the one thing that slowly got me off the floor, slowly got me eating properly, slowly got me smoking less cigarettes. You know, it slowly got my mindset. I had to keep pushing myself, but I had to keep that little thing in eyesight so that I knew I was working towards something. Because there's nothing you can do when it's out of your control. There's absolutely nothing you can do. Things come at you all the time, and there are things and people that are constantly gonna try to break you down because you are phenomenal, because you are great. They're always gonna try and bring you down. Andrew, you said something about the nearest and dearest ones to you that would tell you, you can't do this, you can't do it. Listen, I had a few of those. And tonight, that even I was doing accounts before I did my music. And then I left accounts and oh my gosh, my parents were not happy. But you know, there's always something out of control that, you know, that's out of your control that you kind of, there's nothing you can do about it, but you have to keep in your eyesight. I want to do my music. I want to sing. I want to get to that end goal. So that will keep me going.
You know, I'm glad you shared that, because it made me think of what's been going on in my life that has been outside of my control. And you know, I remember comparing myself. I've always heard it said, comparison is the thief of joy, and don't I know it? So you see that feeling when you're looking around and everyone else is doing their thing and you're just kind of stuck there? I definitely felt that. And I felt that even more so magnified when I didn't have the space or the time to do what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it, because I had 2 young children to look after. So today, my son is 5, he's going to be 6 next month, and I've got a 7-year-old. So I had them really close together, and I was looking after them by myself with the support of my immediate family. And that was tough. And I think I just had to accept that I'm not racing Phoebe. I'm not racing today. I'm not racing Andrew. I'm in my own lane here.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And so yes, and Phoebe, you might be able to run that race, maybe even literally as well as figuratively, a lot faster than I can. You might be able to achieve your goal in a shorter time span than I can. You might be able to, in the middle of the day, get up and say, all right, I'm going to just block out the next 6 hours to work in on my product, Andrew, or to work in on my writing, Tanae. And I had to accept, hey, I simply just don't have that luxury of getting down and getting obsessed and consumed by what I cannot do compared to what someone else is doing. I made the decision to focus solely on what I can do. I even developed a talk called What's in Your Hand. And it is exactly about that. It's about using what you have, your resources right now, to be able to get you to the next level. Another thing that I did, which is similar to what Phoebe was saying, is to keep your eye focused on the goal, but understand that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
And literally
one step at a time. And you know what, Andrew, you might have run 10 meters by the time I've taken one step, but I promise you, if I commit to continue to take one step after another, it might take me a week, it might take me a month, it might take me a year, or it might even take me 10. But if I commit to taking those steps, eventually I will get there. So what I'm saying to those of you who are on here and who are asking, when there's things outside of your control, understand that this is your lane that you're over. There's no one crossing over into your no. There is only one you in this world. Even if you're a twin or a triplet or a quad, you are so special and so unique. There is no one that compares exactly to you, and you've got to own that. That's what.
Can I?
Go on, please.
Can I just say something? So even as you're saying that, I remember also in my experience, there was in this industry, there's so many artists, there's so much music being put out, and also one thing that can work against you is your age. And I felt like I was running out of time. So every time something negative happened in my life, and then I made a plan to put out another song and it didn't quite go how I wanted it to go, I panicked because I could see my friend putting up their album or their song or their, doing a music video. And I was like, oh, what about, and that pressure. And it almost made me feel like, again, imposter syndrome. Maybe it's the sign telling me that I should be. Maybe you're right, you're getting older, and all these things that keep happening out of the blue, just trying, and exactly what, the enemies wanted was what was happening. It was pushing me back further and further, so it, I mean, Naomi, I totally agree with you in terms of, things are out of your control, but you have to kind of try your best to focus on one thing, but also just focus on what you can focus on now, here and now. And all I could do was deal with what I had in front of me, which was literally my voice. So even if that meant singing to myself in my bedroom, even if it meant singing one verse, that was a step towards getting my voice back to where I needed it to be so that I could get back in the studio to work. And even if it's going to take me another 20 years, so what? And if there's 10 people that are still on your fan base that love what you do, you sing for those 10 people and yourself. How about that? Do you know what I mean?
That's right.
I want to move on to I want to get a little bit more personal with this, because I really do feel that there are so many people who are on this broadcast who are really resonating with what's being shared, and so I want to kind of go behind the veil a little bit. Pardon the churchy expression. I'm a PK as well. It's in the blood, no matter how much I run for this thing. Um, but I want to ask you all individually, and I want to start with you, Tanae. What are some of the lies that imposter syndrome or self-doubt made you believe about yourself? What are some of the narratives and the beliefs that you had about yourself that had the potential to completely destroy your dreams, to stop you in your tracks, and to make you stay where you are and never write that book?
I would say when I started writing the book, and I put it out there in the universe that I'm working on a book, I felt like, oh my God, why did I do that in between when I did it? I thought, why did I do that? I just scraped to C in English, like, who am I to write a book? I just kept telling myself that my grammar is not there, that I can't do this. And I just kept telling myself, why have I done that? And also, I think when I had written the book and it was out there, people were asking me to come and read poetry and things like that. And I was running around, literally burning myself out to try and get myself out there, doing like shows for free and things like that. And then I got a mentor, a business mentor, and she said to me, why are you charging? And then that really made me think. And she said to me, do you not value like what you're doing and what you're and your worth, like what you're sharing? And that just made me think. And it just, I don't know, I guess I've always thought, that I'm not worth paid.
Wow.
Those were the things that I told myself. And I don't know if that's because I don't come from an entrepreneurial background. So what I'm doing, I just felt like I was just going and working on my passion, and that, I didn't really deserve to be paid. And yeah, that was something that I've had to work on, my mindset around money and my value and my worth. That's something that I've really, really had to work on, and I've been working on for a while.
I've just got a comment come in from Nadia Smith that says, know your worth, then add tax. I love it.
That's right.
I love that.
I love that saying.
I love it. Thank you for that. Andrew, talk to me. Tell me about some of the lies that kept you trapped, that kept you, and do you know what? And I will say that even maybe still are keeping you trapped.
Yeah.
I know that you have got so much more in you than you're currently given out to the world yet. And the world, some people, specific individuals are waiting for you to show up. But there is something that you're telling yourself, or there are things that you're telling yourself that are preventing that from happening. So let's just get a bit intimate for a while and talk to me about some of the lies that you're telling yourself, even up to this day. And that is the reason why you have not done what you were put here to do.
Yeah. I naturally tell myself, like I spoke about before, academically, I naturally, anything to do with, let's say I need something academic to do it, straight away, can't do that. Can't do that. Even if it's to get it before you do it, can't do that. I'm going to fail. So just leave it out. The next thing is that I know that I'm scared of being seen as the person that did this.
Okay.
Because I've never been told that, yo, you're good at this, you can do this. So I'll have a sick idea, right? And I'll do it, but I have to have somebody with me to take the praise. And then, it was me and him, or it was me and her, or, it wasn't just me. Like someone actually came and said to me, why do you always grab someone with you to do your ideas? Why can't you just go and do it? And then I learned that I'm fearful of stepping out, just fearful of doing that. But with the bear business, why it was different was because my little girl was, going to be born. And I said to myself, I made a promise and said this: people see us, it's not about money, it's not about, having nice stuff, but that's, do your own thing with your own kids, But for me though, I said point blank, right? My little girl is going to get everything that I did not have. Everything. You see, because I know I'm going to give her the inner nice, I'm going to give her the inner good stuff already, that, the peace, the calmness, the love. I've got that on smash already. I'm healing myself, going therapy, counseling.
Right. Okay.
But in regards to like money though, I'm talking about things. I'm saying my little girl's not going to have to suffer because daddy did not believe that he could have the world. No. Like, let me be broke, cool, but let me know my lane, and at least I tried. But I'm not going to be broke knowing that I was just shook to try, you know?
Right.
So yeah, man. Yeah, man.
All right, okay. Phoebe, talk to me about some of the lies that have kept you trapped.
The lies.
That have held you back.
The lies, honey. The lies that have held me back, there's been so many. You're a pastor's child, you're going to die and go to hell if you go and tour the world. Why are you choosing to sing this song, and why are you not doing gospel? Because your voice can only do gospel. The lies. Don't put this track out, just wait, because people are going to have something to say about it because it's not good enough. You didn't wait for it to be better. The lies, even down to I can't put out a project until I teach myself how to make a beat.
Wow.
You don't know how to use Logic. You only know how to use GarageBand. So who do you think you are that you're trying to put out a track?
Wow.
Some of the lies. You're going on stage, your voice is going to break because you're tired and you've been traveling and you've come from Japan the day before and you're tired, so your voice is going to break. Don't go on stage. You're going to forget the lyrics when you get up there. As soon as you get up there, you're going to forget the lyrics, and you're going to look stupid. Don't go on stage. The lies. Those are my lies.
Wow. I'm trying to remember. Thank you for sharing, Phoebe, because here's the thing. I know that there are so many people who are watching right now who will be able to hear what you're saying, and first of all, they might not even be able to believe that it could be you who's saying it, because you've done. Look at what you've achieved. How could you actually believe some of these things?
Can I also add as well?
Oh, what's today?
I feel like because obviously the main reason why I wrote the book was because I was actually going through heartbreak. I feel like the failed relationships made me not see the value in myself.
Wow.
Not be able to, and that's why I thought I couldn't write this book as well. I felt like I needed to prove my value to myself. So I started to take what I was doing really seriously, and I started to really study Instagram and social media and how I could build my audience and reach people, so that I can prove to myself that I do have value and I am
big.
A massive lie for me, as you say that, heartbreak. A massive lie for me was when my husband and his family lied about me and put it on social media for thousands of people to see, and tagged all the people that I had worked with, all the artists, tagged my friends, and wrote so many lies about me and put it up there. Then the imposter syndrome for me when I did my next show was, there's going to be people in the crowd that believe what him and his family have said. You have no right to be up here. Everybody hates you. That's the lies. And it's all lies, but you're standing up there and I actually got to a point where I started to ask myself, did I do this? Because it was so well put together that I started to believe the lies that were put out there. And then I started to tell myself that I did this so that I would just, I don't know, I just wanted it to go away.
Accept it and move on.
And so through heartbreak, I then started to make myself smaller and smaller and smaller, and that's exactly what they wanted. They wanted me to be, and then I lost value in myself, which is why I started to smoke, which is why I didn't value myself enough, which is why I tried to take my own life. Because I then didn't value my voice. So I was smoking 20 cigarettes a day. I didn't eat, so I lost loads and loads of weight. And then I tried to tell people, oh yeah, I've been working out. Lies. You know, because I wanted to hide that I was actually getting smaller and smaller and diminishing and getting as tiny as possible in person, that I could no longer be on stage. So I had no more value for myself. So I totally understand thinking that you're not worth it because of what you're going through.
It's funny, I've had similar experiences in principle. We might not have all walked the same path, but some of the lies that have held me back is, I'm trying to think of them. One would definitely be, let's even talk about this. And you know, you don't know, I've been telling you, I've been sick with worry. And Dr. Joanna, if you're still there, you'll definitely know as well. I spoke to you about this. One of the lies that I believed and told myself was that no one will listen to you. Why are you wasting your time putting out this defeat your dream killer rubbish? No one cares. Everyone is busy doing their thing. Naomi, no one cares. No one's gonna watch. No one's gonna. That was one of the lies that I believed. Prior to that, I believed that no one would take me seriously. How dare you call yourself a coach? How dare you call yourself a speaker? And it's irrational because I had certifications, I had qualifications, I had experience, but that imposter syndrome, that voice was loud in my head.
You forget who you are.
You absolutely forget who you are.
You forget your truth.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. You start to believe rubbish, absolute nonsense about yourself. And when you say it out loud to someone, it is irrational. I will never forget. It must have been around my 20. I had my daughter at 25, so maybe it was my 26th birthday. And I remember waking up on May the 28th, and I was so low. I was so depressed. I felt like, and I said it to someone, I don't feel like I've achieved anything in my life. I haven't done anything. I've wasted all these years. And the reason why I felt that way, and I know it with hindsight now, is because although on paper, I had done lots of things. I had lots of experience in a range of fields. I was doing this, doing that. I had all these different qualifications, but because it wasn't what I wanted to do, because it wasn't the dream that was on my heart, really, all that other stuff was insignificant. It meant nothing. And because I hadn't achieved what I really wanted to at that point, it made me feel worthless. And ladies, I can also relate to you in terms of, you know, going through a really nasty breakup or a really bad heartbreak. And it's funny, sometimes those negative voices are louder for us than the voices of the people who actually are for us and who love us. So all it took was one man to say, you're not worth anything. No one will ever love you like how I love you, but yet treats you like crap. You know, all it took was that one voice to drown out the voice of 1,000 other people, perhaps.
Saying you're amazing.
Exactly. I couldn't believe that. Phoebe, I couldn't hear that when someone else was in my ear telling me something that was the complete opposite. And this is just how I think imposter syndrome even works. It's irrational. It doesn't really make sense. The evidence is there to the contrary, but for some reason, it's like it's more comforting to believe that lie. But that lie is dangerous. It keeps us trapped. It keeps us stagnant. It keeps us stuck in a place where we actually don't like to be. And we have to do our best to break free. Before I go on, I want to, I've got a question that had come in from Bettina. I think that's how you pronounce your name. Apologies if it isn't. And the question to all of you is, are you afraid of failing?
For me, I'll say quickly, no. Just based on where I am now, I'm not afraid of failing. And the only reason, again, is because most of the times I failed, I'm not saying that as a cliche, but based on your mindset, a failure won't knock you. It's not the failure, it's your mindset. Like the failure is a minor, but if your mindset's kind of watered down and you're kind of discouraged when anything happens bad, that's the problem. It's not the failing. Because from failing, you now know what not to do, where not to go, how not to do it again. It kind of makes it easy for you going forward. And that's why it's all about the mentality of getting up and going again.
And yeah, I definitely agree with that. I feel like once you're in tune with your inner voice, like failure will not bother you, because failure is just a part of the journey in life. Like I think you've got to accept that, you know. And I feel like your greatest lessons are found in your darkest times. And you've got to see failure as lessons and not as actual failures. I mean, there's always something to learn. in every knockback.
Absolutely.
For me, I found failure made me stronger. I didn't know it at the time. Even down to singing a song on stage and getting it wrong. I failed according to me, but it was a good lesson to learn. So what do I have to do next time to kind of get certain things right? Or what do I have to do to train my voice a bit more so I can hit that note a bit better, you know? And it made me stronger, because I then got to a point where I didn't care if I failed, because I knew that it was just going to teach me a lesson. As you said, it's just going to teach me a lesson to do better the next time. So no, not afraid of failure.
There's a question that's also come in on, I guess, on the back end of that, which I'll answer. But hold on, let me just read this. We should expect to fail and to be okay with it.
Yes.
The failure mindset is destructive, but the barrier mindset helps you to understand that there are things that can be removed. Thank you for that, Shay. So in terms of my relationship with failure, I remember, so to answer your question, Nadia, have you always not been afraid of failing? There was a time when I was terrified of failing. I came from a background where I never ever failed an exam. I was always at the top of my class from school, college, university. When it came to academics, that was my thing. I had never failed an exam before.
Wow.
Never failed a paper. What, me? No, never. Absolutely not. So failure, because I hadn't experienced it, failure was terrifying for me, because no, I just don't do that. I would be the type of person in school that everyone hates. Everyone has been studying all term. I've been messing about. I've been playing the fool.
Yeah, mum and the bully Naomi still like.
I would be the one on the way to school reading my GCSE revision guide and come out and ace the paper. That was what I was accustomed to. I know if Paul Boldo is
in my head, I was like,
I know he'll be able to relate. I've been giving this man stress from GCSE levels, degrees. And you know, he would tell you, I would never have to really try when it came to my academics.
Yeah.
Until the day that I did. And it shook me to my core. I will never forget, I failed a geography exam. And I was stunned. It's like my world had come to an end. But what I also recognized was that nothing bad actually happened to me. Okay, I just had to do it. So there was a time when I was terrified of failure, and that fear that I then developed of failure prevented me from trying the things that I wanted to try. But then this is what happened, Nadia. This is what I learned real quick. Failure is a prerequisite to success.
Yeah.
If you just go with the flow and you do and you win and you win and you win and you win, okay, that might be your natural ability. But I think the real test is to be able to be knocked down, Phoebe, to be on your bedroom floor.
On the floor.
On your face, and have to dig yourself up from that. Because that's where character is developed. That's where your true strength is. That's where you're refined. That's when you become better. And so now anyone who actually knows me personally will know that I'm a trier. I'll give anything a go, which is why I've got a vast range of experience in so many different fields, because if I get an idea, I might not know how to do it really, but I'm going for it same way. I'll give it a go, because I recognize that as long as the failure is not going to take my life, then it's probably worth the risk, because there's so much more to gain than what there is to lose. But don't hear me saying it's all confident and bold and think, yes, she's got it. No, don't. I was on the phone with Phoebe, I don't know when it was, maybe last week. And I was saying that I'm terrified of doing this. I'm absolutely terrified. And Phoebe stopped and asked me, and she was acting like my coach. Naomi, what exactly are you afraid of? And that made me stop. And I was silent for a while and had to think, what am I actually afraid of? And that's when we went through a process of rationalizing this. My fear was no one was going to turn up today. That was my fear. And we had to unpack that and be like, okay, worst case scenario, not one person turns up. So what? You see what I'm like? When you start to unpack what your fears really are, and you keep asking yourself that question, so what? You will start to realize that sometimes that L that you have to hold is actually for your good. It's actually there to teach you something. So we need to change our relationship with failure, in my opinion, for us to really reach the levels that we're supposed to. Because honestly, if you are being crippled by the fear of failure, I promise you, you will not achieve what it is that you are supposed to. You will not live out your purpose whilst you're here on this earth, because you won't even have the audacity to try. So my hope and my wish for all of you is that you will dare to be bold, dare to try, dare to give it a go. And if you fall flat on your face, guess what? You've at least got 1, 2, 3, 4 of us here.
Right.
We've fallen flat on our face many times. And we
literally. Yeah,
we're
literally.
all right. We're okay.
Literally.
I want to, before we wrap up, I want to ask you all a question. In light of what you have learnt now about yourself, in light of, if you were able to keep all of your knowledge, all of your wisdom, but travel back in time to Phoebe, that little girl, to Andrew, that little boy, or to Tanae, that little girl, what would you tell yourself, your younger self, about how to deal with this imposter syndrome, what advice would you give to yourself about daring to go out there and be the person that you were put here to be?
A lot of my imposter syndrome experience was about what other people thought of me. It came about based on, again, accusations, based on being a PK and what the church brethren are going to think if they see me in earrings and trousers on a stage. And about, it was always about other people's opinions. And because I had been taught to live in the spotlight from church to the stage, everyone's watching you. That's all I knew. So what everyone thought about me mattered more than what I thought about me. I would tell that little girl, and I know it's cliche and some people have heard it before, but what people think about you is none of your business. You cannot they are allowed to think what they want to think. They are allowed to accuse you. They are allowed to make you look like the biggest, dirtiest, nastiest, horriblest person out there. That's their business. They're allowed to do that. It doesn't feel nice, but they are allowed to. Leave them alone. What's most important about you is what you know about your ability, what you know about your truth, what you know about yourself, what you know about your talents. Use that. Invest that in yourself and move forward. That's what I tell my little Phoebe.
Big.
Tanae, tell me, what would you tell yourself? What would you tell little Tanae?
I would say that my imposter syndrome is based around the way people have treated me in life. And I think I will say to myself not to speak so recklessly over my life, and remember that words carry energy. And I have to beat myself down or nourish myself with the words that I choose to speak over my life. I would tell myself that you only get one life, live it to the fullest, because in a matter of time, it will come to an end. I would also tell myself to make solitude a priority. I feel like there's so much noise that society makes for us. So it can lead us to sometimes looking outside of ourselves for the answers, when most of the time the answers can be found within. And that's what I found. When I faced my emotions in writing, I was able to find my answers. And I would also say, don't worry about what anybody is doing. Focus on your own path. Everything happens in its own time and at its own pace.
Excellent.
Andrew, will you tell little Andrew?
I'll just keep it not simple for the sake of it, but I really mean this. I'll just let myself know. Just be yourself, man. Like, don't try and be no one else but who you are. Like, that's it, man. Like, I can't be no one else. I can't be no one else. You know? So literally, I just think if everybody was just to be themselves, that's like the best starting point. That's the best starting point. Just own who you are. It's cool. It's okay.
That's right.
Okay. You know, I gave that a lot of thought. What would I tell little Nay? And what I would tell her is that, yes, like Phoebe, you're a pastor's daughter. People have got their opinions of you, your family, and they will do probably until the end of time. And it doesn't matter, even when you reach your mid-30s, people are still going to be calling you pastor's daughter.
It's all right.
But it's okay. As Phoebe said, leave them alone. Focus on yourself, what you've been given, and celebrate yourself because you are enough.
Yeah, that's
right.
Understand that the world is waiting for you to show up.
Yeah.
The longer you wait, being incarcerated by your own thoughts, is the less time that you're actually going to have to live out your purpose. And so I want to encourage every single person who's watching us, whether you're watching this live or you're catching it on the replay, that, like Tanae said, you've got one life. Listen, I'm here to wake you up and let you know that this ain't a dress rehearsal. This is the real thing.
Yeah.
I think it was Les Brown who said that the graveyard or the cemetery is the richest place on earth.
Yeah.
I'm sure I read that it was him who said, oh, here it is. The graveyard is the richest place on earth because it is here that you will find all the hopes and dreams that were never fulfilled, the books that were never written, the songs that were never sung, the inventions that were never shared, the cures that were never discovered, all because someone was too afraid, too fearful, procrastinated too long, listened to those negative voices for too long, didn't believe themselves enough for too long to take that first step. And they were not determined to carry out their dream. Now, whilst that is maybe it's inspiring to some, I don't subscribe to that school of thought. You see, what gives me greater hope and motivation is that the richest place on earth is between your two ears, because that's where there is limitless potential. That's where there is opportunity. In the graveyard, their chapter is done. Their book is complete. Whatever they did, that's it. There's no coming back from it. It's finished. But you see, for every single one of you who are watching this now, who are still breathing right now, who have still been blessed with the gift of life for yet another day, that is what inspires me. That is what gives me hope. I heard in the comments, or should I say I read rather in the comments, someone asked the question, how can I get from where I am, dealing with this imposter syndrome, to get the mentality that will allow me and the mindset that will allow me to break free from my own chains and move on and birth that thing that I've been dying to all my life? Well, today, I actually want to give you an offer. And I know that as part of my journey, I've had to do it holding someone else's hand some of the way. I needed someone else's. I heard like everyone on this panel talk about therapy. I've heard people talking about getting some help. And I'm so happy that we're able to break the stigma of therapy and reaching out to someone for support and some help where we may be struggling, because I think within our community, we need to normalize this. Some of us are broken. Some of us are hurting. Some of us need healing. And in some instances, it will require professional assistance, and that is okay. So there's that side of things. But the offer that I want to make to you today is simple. If you've been on this broadcast, if you've heard anything, if you've discovered something that has made you realize, you know what, enough is enough. I need to move on to the next level. I don't want 2021 and 2022 to come and I'm still singing from the same hymn sheet that I'm stuck. If you're tired of being stuck, if you're tired of having your dreams sabotaged by your fears, irrational fears, by your lack of self-belief, by your low self-esteem, and you're ready to break free, then I want to hold your hand as we go along that journey together. I'm going to post a link in the comment box. In fact, let me do it right now before I actually even forget. I'm going to post a link right now, and I'm making a special offer for any of you who who want some support on this journey, I'm actually starting a 90-day challenge, which will be for everyone who wants to take the active steps and be consistent in making the changes necessary to master your mindset and to free yourself and from those negative voices and to manage your inner critic. I want to give you the opportunity to be able to join us on this journey together as we start to take the steps that are required to perform a hard reset on our minds, because I believe that's what is needed. You know, I listened to Phoebe, I listened to Tanae, I listened to Andrew, and there is something that has been a common thread. Andrew, I think you said it best, but there's no special formula. You just got to get up and do it. You're feeling stuck, you've just got to break away. But sometimes I know it's difficult when you don't have anyone around you supporting you, cheering you on, and sometimes you don't even have the strength to be able to do it yourself. So I'm inviting you to go to the link that I've just posted in the comments below and sign up for a masterclass that I'll be hosting next week. It's a 2-day masterclass next weekend called Master Your Mindset. Over those period of 2 days, we'll be giving you the opportunity to perform that hard reset. It's going to be a kind of rip the band-aid off situation, where we're going to take a deep dive into identifying what is really stopping you from getting to that next level. What is preventing you from being the person, being the entrepreneur that you want to be, being that singer that you want to be, being the author that you want to be, being the playwright that you want to be, getting advancing in your career. Whatever your dream is, it is within your reach. But I want to let you know that one day it will be too late. Right now you're breathing. Right now your body is working. Right now you've got your mind is in a good state. Even if it's not the best, it's in a good state. I know these lockdown times are getting to us all, but right now we're okay. We still got something in us. So why not invest that time to making sure that when we come out of this, we can literally be transformed. And it would be my honor to work with you along that journey. So I've got a special offer for you and a friend to come along and be part of my private Facebook group, where we'll be having weekly live coaching calls for the next 90 days to move you from where you are to where you want to be.
Excellent.
And the website is simple: www.naomiempowers.co.uk/MYM. Go ahead there, register, and be part of what is going to take all of us to the next level. We can achieve the life that we desire. Our dreams are within our reach, but it does take a shift of our mindset. If you're looking for any get rich quick or do A, B, and C, and then you'll be able to have the best business, no, I can't offer you that. But I can offer you a sequence, a strategy, and the action and the consistency and accountability you need to turn this thing around. Because one day it really is going to be too late. And you absolutely owe it to yourself and the world to show up and start today. We're gonna round this off. But before we do that, I just want to say a massive thank you to you, Phoebe, to you, Tanae, to you, Andrew. Thank you so much for your insights. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for the value that you shared. I know that people have been liberated today as a result of what they've heard. And I just want you to just give your final words, your final thoughts to the people, speaking directly to the people who are watching live or watching on the replay now. If they were to forget every single thing that was said today, what is the one thing that you'd want them to leave with?
For me, I'll say quickly, man. Don't, and I said it before, don't be led by your feelings and emotions. That is it. Just get to the place where you are systematic. Like, it's a system now. It's what you do, right? So just don't be led by your feelings and emotions.
Thank you, Andrew.
I'd say choose the words you speak over your life wisely. Surround yourself with the people who uplift you, support you, and love you the way you are, and keep your vision board in sight.
That's right.
Oh, love it. I love it. I love it.
I would say choose to see yourself as the amazing person that you are. Embrace it, nourish it, water it, love it. See yourself in your truth, and live your life for yourself, be confident in your abilities.
I love that. Amazing.
And the final words that I want to leave with you before we sign off is simple. It's just to remember that you are not a mistake. Your life is not a mistake. You are here on this earth for a purpose. It has been built into you. Just like an apple seed can only produce an apple tree and there eventually bear apples, you have a seed of potential that has been planted deep inside of you. And you owe it to the world, to yourself, to those who will benefit, for you to nourish that, for you to be able to grow and develop it, and to birth your vision, to bring out that purpose, to walk in your purpose, and to be the man or the woman that you were created to be. So my advice to you is simple. Get started now, because the world is waiting for you to show up. So once again, to everyone who is watching us live, catching us on the replay, watching us online, thank you so, so much for spending these moments with us tonight. And I hope to catch you next week on the 3rd and the 4th of May, as we do our 2-day live masterclass, Master Your Mindset. The link is in the comments, and I look forward to catching you there. See you all next week. Thank you so, so much to my wonderful panelists. You guys are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us. Thank you, Nay.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Take care.